Hey guys, how are you?
Good.
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I didn't think my hockey fandom could get worse after last episode and hearing about Shea Weber, but here we are. And by the way, news of Dano going to walk to free agency is somehow not the worst thing this week because Carey Price, and we'll get to it. But I don't know how I'm going to do today. We have an action-packed show because we basically had a second trade deadline over the weekend with the expansion lists coming into play and the roster freezes in effect. And now Seattle, they're looking at players available. Their team is coming in again. Well, giant trades. You know what? Even some minor trades, even that kind of stuff. Nothing to the level of what was that goalie last week that you tried to open the show with, Daniel?
Dylan Wells. Dylan Wells. For future considerations.
Yeah. So we're going to look at some expansion stuff. We might just quickly do our own little Seattle projections, maybe towards the end of the show or end of opening segment, wherever we go right now.
Adam, I'm really curious because you asked for an action-packed.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
and you were given one. Are you impressed?
I am, of course. You know, we had there's the Heiskanen signing. There's the Aiden Hill stuff. There's Andrew Ladd. I don't think I've ever seen normally you see a trade and it's future considerations. The Islanders legit had no return. I've never seen that for the Andrew Ladd trade. That's ridiculous.
I think Cap Friendly was just as confused as everybody else.
How do you just say, hey, that's it? Okay, so what do you get back, Lou? Yes.
Cap space.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was something they could do. I didn't realize you could just trade a player in picks and not receive anything in return.
Yeah.
Remember, this was before we started the podcast, but Jonathan Bernier, when he was traded for a conditional 7th.
Yes. That was hilarious.
We all knew he wasn't going to meet the conditions.
Wasn't it he had to play until the cup final, their starter in Anaheim? Did they needed the cup final? It was okay.
Yeah. Funny thing, that was also
what's gonna happen.
That was that's a funny thing about that.
What?
That was also a Lou Lamoriello trade.
Right.
His fingerprints are everywhere.
Yeah.
All right. So let's just get this out the way. Let's just first off, it looks like Phil Danault is heading to. We'll start with Montreal. After Montreal, we'll talk about the Jared McCann trade, and then we'll just go wherever the world takes us. We will let the world dictate the show today.
The transitions will flow.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've been at my brother's all weekend, so I've not really had the time to really. This is my fault to really kind of structure the show today. So if it's a bit messy, that's on me. So apologies to everyone.
Okay. I forgive you.
We will survive.
Yeah, considering that my favorite player of all time may be going to Seattle. Yeah. So
Andre Palat.
I'm so tempted to leave this meeting.
He's just gonna leave.
I'm kidding.
So Carey Price has waived his no-move clause for the purpose of expansion for the Habs to protect Jake Allen. So Carey Price will be 34 in August. I think it's mid-August. Same month as Sidney Crosby, fun fact.
Wow.
He has a $10.5 million cap hit. There's some signing stuff in there. It's an expensive contract. However, here's what really worries Habs fans. So his wife, Angela, is from Washington State. On the off-season, they live in Washington, and naturally that's a lot closer to British Columbia. He's obviously from Anaheim Lake in British Columbia. And not to mention he played for the Tri-City Americans in junior, so he's familiar. I'm pretty sure that's where he met his wife too. Mm-hmm. So it's scary. It's also very scary. Something that so his wife Angela, who's very thinky on social media, very active, put this thing on her story. It's Angela with the two of their daughters, Millie and Liv, adorable kids, saying, "Just checked my DMs." Tongue sticking out emoji. Don't worry, guys. Things will make more sense soon. And Habs fans, and myself included, are split down the middle as to how is that her saying, "Don't worry, guys. We're staying." Is it? No. Guys, obviously, if Carey Price goes, it is especially if Shea Weber is gone, there will be tons of cap room for the Habs, obviously. Like, is there a reset now? Like, instead of they don't fully rebuild, obviously, because they have a lot of good pieces in that. Like, Montreal are in a good position regardless of what happens. It's just, it's important, I think, when you talk about a team you cheer for, that you make a bias very clear to the people listening or reading your stuff. I just want to, so just let me just excuse that the audio is kind of bad here. So I'm just gonna grab something very quickly out of a display case I have here. So,
Okay.
Also, behind me, you see that there are two photos. They're both of Carey Price, by the way. Also, one of the first times I lived in Montreal, I picked this up, and this is one of Carey Price's masks, actually. Normally, he actually bids them off at the end of the year. I know a collector who used to work for the Habs, so, you know, I love him.
Oh, is this
I
you
know how
explaining his
Penguins
bias?
fans feels.
This is you explaining your bias.
I no matter what, I say this a lot. You guys know me. I'm a dramatic person. Like, it's signed too, by the way. Like,
Yeah.
and I've put this on before. I'm not gonna lie. This is the mask of his. I'll get tattooed on my leg. I love hockey, and I want to talk about hockey for a living because of Carey Price. And no matter what happens, I'm gonna cry. I'm feeling like I'm gonna cry right now. I don't think my fandom for this team will ever be the same, and I will never ever forgive Marc Bergevin if they lose Carey Price.
Yeah.
I will never do it.
I want to talk about that at some point. I want to bring it up now, though.
We can do it now. Whatever. We have good time.
If he gets claimed,
Yes.
that has to be the biggest L for Marc Bergevin during his tenure as GM of the Montreal Canadiens.
Could you imagine if Price and Subban get claimed, by the way?
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
And they win a
That'd
cup
be
in
so
Seattle?
ironic.
Yeah, that would be great.
You know, just the weird thing for me now is, again, it's that pattern we talk about with Marc Bergevin where we applaud him for what he's been able to do. And then these things happen because it's so weird to me now that I know we knew about the injuries. We knew about what was going to happen with some of the contracts, but it's really eerie to me that in maybe a week, a few days after the cup, that everything's unraveling.
Oh yeah. Danault's going to free agency too, apparently. Just throw that out there.
I know Jonathan Drouin, that was something that we don't know what's going on with that. I know he was exposed as well, but it's just a lot of things that I'm finding now with what was the core of this Montreal Canadiens team. It's just like suddenly it might look so different next year.
Yeah, I know. This might be, if Carey Price gets claimed, this might be the worst month in Habs history. It honestly might be. At least they got something for a while.
Yeah.
They will get rid of their franchise leader in wins, games played. He has every goalie record in Montreal, maybe except for playoff wins and shutouts, because Hainsworth played in like the days of like shenanigans and has 75 shutouts. This is not even real. For nothing, they could lose him.
If he does get claimed, I mean,
I will throw the biggest tantrum known to mankind.
We can have a discussion. We can talk about if we actually think he's going to get claimed in a bit. But Marc Bergevin does not sign an extension if Carey Price gets claimed.
If Molson, because there's word that maybe there's something for president of hockey ops, like in a cupboard somewhere.
Yeah.
If they lose him, take it and burn it and fire him and his staff. I don't care if Mellenby's done something wrong. If Trevor Timmons doesn't have it. No, he's gone too. Not the security guy. He's pretty cool. He's been around since like when they were winning cups, so he's cool. Maybe even Madame B. No, we like Madame Bibo, but like that's where we are.
Right. No, that's fair. That's fair. Like, it's just insane to me that you're trying to, like, you're so set on keeping Jake Allen, unless there's something going on that the entire fan base does not know about, which I'd find highly unlikely because there's never seemed to what? Yeah, like
it's Montreal.
Like nothing will come out, but it's just, to me, it's like you don't think we notice if something was off between Carey Price and the Montreal Canadiens, like the management. I don't see it. Also, to expose him, to ask him to waive the no move clause, to keep Jake Allen, to me, and then Carey Price gets claimed, to me is inexcusable, because you're telling me there's no Jake Allen replacement in free agency.
I thought that too. That's
Yaroslav Halak, for the love of anything. Do you know how many goalies there are this year? The market is going to be flooded with them.
Especially there may not be 1A goalies, but there are plenty of goalies who could literally substitute Jake Allen. And to go out of your way like this, to take the risk, it just, to me, doesn't make sense.
Naturally, if you're Carey Price, if he gets claimed, it's like, okay, I'm closer to every member of my family in every way possible.
Right.
What looks worse on Bergevin is everything he did over the summer last year was because Price and Weber said, buddy, we need some help here. The entire direction of again, they're in a good spot, regardless of what happens. But again, you went your whole thing off of and everything Price and Bergevin has gone off about how he nearly worships the ground that Weber and Price walk on. I do the same with Price. I'm not gonna lie, but still, it's the direction he's taken the team and sort of the sidestep they took in instead of just doing a full rebuild was Mike. How dare you text me? But was because it was to be done around those two players. And it's just, I just don't want Bergevin around this team. I'm fed up with him. Everything that, when I've ever said something positive about him over the past few months, it's just been immediately, I want to take it back. I want to go back I want to go back to the video. I hate living by a highway. I hate it so much. This is terrible, guy. I'm so upset. I'm not gonna rant anymore. I think we've said everything we need to say. I guess we can go to the discussion of do Seattle take him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you what do you think? I want you to start.
Okay, so if we look at this in black and white, he had an amazing playoffs. Regular season, going back to 82 games, 34 years old. Unlike Fleury, Carey's had a few more injuries. Remember when he missed an entire year? I did. Yeah. It was a bad year. Subban got traded because of it. This team is too much. And you think, okay, he has 5 years left. There's salary, there's signing bonuses in there. And again, they go Francis, I think it was the day of the roster freeze, had that big there was all that discussion about how important cap space is. Do you want to commit that much cap space for that long for the next few years is going to be a flat cap era? Now, however, there is the side of it's Carey Price. That's your next star. That's the guy, how Fleury gets his car commercials and his donuts. That's Carey. And he can get a Bass Pro Shop thing. I don't know. Whatever.
They can figure something out.
And again, yeah.
Go ahead, Dan. No, go.
Sorry.
No, I'm just, okay, go. Sorry.
Okay, Alex, go, Alex.
No, I was just going to say, it's not, I guess, about money, because I think it's very well known that the owners in Seattle are more than okay spending up to the cap. I think we've had that discussion a few times. But again, like Adam, you said, do they want to spend $10.5 million in a flat cap where, he has 5 years left?
Yes.
And we're talking at least the next 3 seasons could be flat cap. That's more than half of that contract where it's $10.5 million. And he's 33. He's going to be 34. And listen, I'm not saying he's going to completely decline, but The thing is that with Carey Price, we know if Seattle makes it to the playoffs and Carey Price is on that team, that's when we see prime Carey Price.
And their division sucks.
I mean, we literally just saw it this year, right?
This is 6 minutes ago by from Pierre LeBrun. For those pondering the idea of Seattle selecting Price only to trade him back to Montreal, the Habs throwing picks assets at Seattle for the Kraken to retain his salary. And I would assume that the teams would know this ahead of time. They're both like Francis and Burge have been around a long time. Hello, Mike Rottweiler. Good to see you. The NHL has informed both clubs that is a total no-go. League considers that a clear circumvention. I love that they care about cap circumvention all of a sudden. Thank you very much.
So I believe this is a rule. Because I was reading about this morning because someone tweeted about it, just a comment. You cannot trade a player back in terms of expansion. You can't trade a player back to the team within the first year, is my understanding of the rule.
The one thing I wanted to add there was when we look at expansion or we look at a new franchise that I know that we look at like the flat cap and everything, but if I'm an expansion team or if I even look at the Winnipeg Jets example, I want to hit the ground running. I think that the Vegas Golden Knights have really set that standard. I think with any sport, when you come in as a new team, that we're going to do whatever we can. So I just don't understand like this whole thing where why would you not take someone like Carey Price, who still is arguably one of the top five? And I'm saying this as in the most rational sense, in a way where if you want to build a team, like why would I want to go for anyone else if I could get this? And like the market value you can have with that in terms of advertising, in terms of having someone like that, like why would you not take him?
Yeah, great. Also something breaking, and we'll end the Habs talk with this. This is from Jonathan Bernier of the Journal. Not that Bernier, the reporter. It looks like Deneau does not expect to re-sign with Montreal. He's looking for a 5-6 year deal with the AAV as $5.5 million.
Didn't they offer that to him?
Apparently.
So is the offer now not on the table?
Well, apparently there's just been no communication at all. Where have we heard this before? Bergevin sticking his back up. Remember that ESPN agent poll when they're like, Bergevin's probably one of the worst negotiators to deal with because he takes something so personally and is so back against the wall with stuff? That's very good.
Right. It's starting to bite him in the ass a little bit here.
Please take Drouin. And not in a bad way because I love Jonathan, but take Drouin. Call them. Make a side deal if you can. And do not lose. You're the best Hab since Patrick Waugh for nothing. Do not do that. Please. I am begging you, do not lose Carey Price for nothing. 300 plus wins. Like 700 games played. 40 playoff wins plus in there. Don't do that. Don't do that. Ridiculous stuff. I can't. All right, moving on, though. The Leafs have acquired Jared McCann for a pick, and why can't I say it properly? Excuse me. How do you say his name again? I don't know why.
Jared McCann?
Not Jared McCann. The
Philip Hollander.
Philip Hollander.
Philip Hollander,
and
yes.
a seventh.
I actually found this trade really funny.
So isn't it basically, the way I saw the Hollander deal is the Leafs technically don't give anything up because they're all assets previously acquired from Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I don't know what's with the Penguins keep getting back guys they already traded to Toronto. Like,
yeah,
in like the same kind of like trade tree. First Kapanen, now it's Philip Hollander. Oh, and what was the other one that we looked at as
weird.
well?
Even with Hextall. So before I throw this over to Alex here, the way I kind of look at this trade is it's almost like a safety net as in the way that no matter what, Kyle Dubas has sort of secured a third line center, even if it's Kerfoot they take. They got Jared McCann, who apparently can do some work on the power play, from what I understand. Or again, it's Kerfoot, and we all remember how good he was in the playoffs. Alex, what do you think of the deal and how you kind of see the expansion draft going for Toronto with this as a sort of shockwave?
I like the deal. You're not giving up anything serious. I mean, you can say the cupboard isn't exactly full in Toronto, but I do think that's what happens when you have like 8 or 9 guys come up all at once. So that's just something that tends to happen. I didn't really have anything wrong with the deal. I think exactly what you said. It is a safety net in a way. I'm not a fan of what they did in terms of the expansion list. I think, no offense to Justin Hall, and listen, we've given him tons of credit on this show. I just think that you can find a Justin Hall replacement.
So just quickly, the official protected list for the Leafs, they're all available if you go on to themedia.nhl.com for anyone wondering. They went 4-on-4 for the skater. So it's Jack Campbell, the 4 defensemen, Riley, Muzzin, Hall, Brody, the 4 forwards. It's the big 4. It's Tavares, Nylander, Matthews, and Marner.
Which is literally what we predicted.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But the thing is, at the time, it wasn't, we just traded for Jared McCann, but we're going to leave both of them exposed. Like, that's where it gets confusing for me, where it's like, well, you have the opportunity to now not have to go out in free agency and acquire another player. You've now traded for a guy that you clearly like this. It seems like McCann has been linked to Toronto multiple times over the last couple of years. And I just have to wonder, would this deal be available after the expansion draft? Or was this simply we don't want to lose McCann for nothing, but now Dubas is saying, yeah, that's fine. It's a safety net for us. That's what it looks like to me. And it's like, well, if you could have made the deal afterwards, you should have.
Curious. Yeah. I'm just going to look up who Pittsburgh still have available. Because they've elected to, so Pittsburgh's list, for anyone wondering, Jari, Matheson was, what? They protected Mike Matheson?
You remember? Yeah, because remember he had that reemergence into like a
reemergence.
Well, what reemergence to, like, he actually played like top 4 minutes and he was actually pretty okay. Like Cody CC as well.
Well, anyway, yeah, but then Pedersen's exposed. Well, anyway, so it's Jari, Matheson, Letang, Dumoulin. Then it's Russ, Malkin, Kapanen, Getzel, Carter, Bluger, and some guy named Sidney Crosby. So I guess, see, the thing is, Pittsburgh have so many guys that you could see being taken, a.k.a. Zach Aston Reese is a good player. I like that player. Casey DeSmith's another one. Mark Freeman. No, I'm just kidding. Like Jason Zucker and Brandon Tanev. Tanev's deal's a bit meh, but like those are good players. So that's weird from Pittsburgh. Like their expansion stuff overall is weird. By the way, I called that Carter was getting protected. Yeah, I called it. You did. One good thing going for me in my hockey fandom this month. But it's weird from Pittsburgh's thingy point of view here. I guess they just keep losing trades against the Leafs, in my opinion. Like it feels like it's lose-lose on Pittsburgh's side of things in the expansion draft too. It's really weird.
I think a big thing, and I've been like looking at this online, where you look at schemes when it comes to what your lineups are going to be like, and I think that where they are right now, you still have that huge emphasis on you. Once you find wingers, and I'm thinking of Teddy Booger, who got re-signed, or you look at someone like Brandon Tanev, who goes up and down the lineup. He sometimes plays on the top line. You go with those guys, like, you have that Chris Kunitz, Pascal Dupuis type of guys, where if they fit somewhere on a Malkin or a Crosby line, you stick to that. And I think that was what they wanted to go for, because I think that's the history of what the Penguins are. When they lose someone like Jared McCann, is that bottom 6 is always ever changing for them.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Anything else on this, guys? You want to talk about Leafs trade expansion, Pittsburgh, Jared McCann? I'll tell you this first. Would you guys rather Jared McCann, or would you rather Alex Kerfoot? Alex first, then Daniel.
Jared McCann.
Okay. Daniel.
Jared McCann, because at first I was kind of apprehensive about it, but James Myrtle really convinced me with his article in The Athletic.
He was Vancouver, right?
Vancouver, Pittsburgh, Florida. He was part of. Was he not part of the Eric Branson trade?
That's what I'm thinking.
He was. He was. So fun fact: he was the draft pick that the Canucks got in the Ryan Kessler trade from Anaheim.
There was that stink with him where it was like he was about like Vancouver get ripped off, and I don't think he ever quite went into this top 6 stud I think people expected to, but he's really sort of changed his game around. Before going, I probably should have done this earlier, but this is Montreal's protected list. Allen, Petrie, Edmondson, Sherratt, forwards Toffoli, Lehkonen, Kotkaniemi, Gallagher, Evans, Anderson, and Armia, which was an interesting one. But after all the news about who was getting exposed in that, I thought that was kind of expected. I guess good faith to Armia, because I guess I want to bring him back. Or apparently Edmonton are in on Armia after if he hits the market, because they're interested in everyone.
Right.
They're gonna give him $4 million.
Man, if Armia was a little more consistent, then sure. But again, he's good for about a quarter of the season. The rest of that, he's just kind of not noticeable. So a 3-way trade happened. That was pretty sick in the midst of the roster freeze.
One of our guys.
Yes, indeed, one of our guys. And in this sort of shenaniganry, again, Nashville, another 3-way trade. They've been part of a few notable ones. And I think they're still on the losing end of it. Because I don't think people have really talked about how bad the Ryan Ellis trade has been. That's just me. So Vegas, in the process of this, have flipped Cody Glass. So of their first draft, all 3 of those picks are gone. Brandstrom for Stone, Suzuki for Pacioretty, thanks. And now this trade. In exchange, within this trade, they walk away with Nolan Patrick, former 2nd overall pick. He's had some injury problems. Probably the best thing to sort of walk away and a new start for both teams. Nashville also receive in this deal. Yeah, again, they get Cody Glass out of this, which is good. They want centerman. Good trade for them. They need them very badly. And Johansson and Duchesne, I think, are both exposed in the expansion draft.
Yeah.
And I guess the big piece, which is really funny out of this, because Nashville protected 5 defensemen. Maybe we can look at their list again in a second here. Philip Myers. So Ryan Ellis got them Cody Glass and Philip Myers. Like, it's not bad, but it's just like good for Philly and all this that they get they get Ryan Ellis obviously from this. But I just thought if somebody really got bit from expansion here, man, Ekholm and Ellis, and you don't even get a first out of that, that's bad.
Yeah, I think what they really went for with this is Nashville realizing that they wanted youth, but guys who, in a way, like what I said before, like the way that market is, they always have to show a certain type of success. Like I don't think David Poile will survive there if they were to go through if they go through a real rebuild.
I don't know about that. I
don't
just
think so.
Is he not the only general manager?
He is. He
probably is.
Because what happened was, remember when they kind of had that bad year, and Barry Trotz was like their only coach in franchise history.
Yep.
So like I'm just thinking of that as one example where they're gonna let him go quietly if they go through something like that again. So I would compare this to like the Anaheim situation, right? Where they kind of want to get young guys, but they want these guys who are to a certain extent ready to play in the NHL. But again, like it is a weird one because you are really hoping on an extreme sense of upside from both of those guys.
That's the thing is, to me, the return seems low. So let's remove Nolan Patrick from the situation because he's in Vegas, right? They pick up a centerman. We said they need center depth. I mean, it's part of it. But so if you look at it from Nashville's perspective, it's Philip Myers and it's Cody Glass. Cody Glass was scratched in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Do you remember that weird transaction that sent him down to the Henderson Silver Knights? It was just the weirdest transaction.
Yes.
So they must be so high on Cody Glass as well as Philip Myers. Like, I'm not saying they're bad players, but Roman Josi and Ryan Ellis were one of the only bright spots to me this season for the Nashville Predators. Like the defense core in Nashville in Josi, Ekholm, and Ryan Ellis were pretty much, and UC Saros towards the end, were the bright spots of this of this team, and then you get that in return.
Especially like Philly had just apparently, because they couldn't get Seth Jones to commit long term.
Right.
They must have circled back to Nashville. Maybe they had both balls in the air. We don't know, but
Friedman was it Friedman who reported Philly had interest back around the trade deadline?
Him or Saravelli? Saravelli had a hell of a weekend, by the way.
Yeah, he has been going after it. It just seems low to me. Like good on Philly, right? Because we've said they maybe have gotten their Matt Niskanen replacement, as Mike would say.
Great.
But who knows? I guess we'll see. Like the thing is, you gave up Philip Myers and then you plug in Ryan Ellis, so you still have to go find. Not necessarily have to go find a Philip Myers replacement, but you do have to plug someone into his spot as well.
And you know what? By the way, now looking at Nashville side of this, Fabro has the time to really step up now and really become the defenseman we all knew or think he's capable of being. He is one of the protected players for Nashville. Goalie, UC Saros. The forwards, Luke Kunin, Tanner Janot. Never heard of him before today. Philip Forsberg, and the 5 defensemen, Myers, Yossi, Fabro, Ekholm, and Alexander Carrier.
Lovely.
What a weird list.
That's got to be the only time in history that it's been five defensemen.
You know how we always talk about we have our quote unquote all-time names list, like all-time names list team we always come up with every year, like Jakob Forsberg, Carlson.
Yes.
As one example. I think Cody Glass and Luke Kunin should be added to that team.
I think they're second all-stars. The second all-stars. Not first, but they're second all teams.
The amount of times you've mentioned those guys.
Oh, yeah. Well, Glass should have played in the playoffs, but apparently not because Mo Carey had to get it. Weird situation down the middle in Vegas. They desperately need cap space to make a move. They're going to be making some moves. Another move we can talk about, though, but this has to do with the Islanders and the Coyotes. The Coyotes need draft picks. The Islanders need cap space, and they came together, and I feel like at the end of it, everyone got what they wanted, but I think Arizona definitely won this deal. The Coyotes receive Andrew Ladd from the New York Islanders. Basically, a dead contract. He will apparently he'll have the chance to play, but it won't be guaranteed. A 2021 second rounder, a 2022 conditional second rounder, and a 2023 conditional third rounder. This next tweet is from Arthur Staple. Conditions on the 2022 second rounder going to Arizona in the Ladd deal. Coyotes get the better of the Isles 22 seconds. Either the Isles own or Colorado's from the Devon Taves deal. I believe another condition is actually just based upon if he plays a game. But this is all from the Sportsnet article. 3 picks, the Islanders get their cap space and no return, which is hilarious. If you didn't think we were in a dead cap era right now, we are in a dead cap era where 3 assets, nothing in return.
I mean, it's a horrible look for the league. How is this happening? That's
Lou being Lou.
No, it's not the trade. The trade's clearly legal. It's just that at least once in off season, we have a dead contract being traded, and it's just not a great look for the league. It really isn't.
No, but
it's great for the Islanders in this case scenario. They get rid of $5.5 million of cap space because I believe he's not on LTIR. Last year he played like 1 game in the AHL. Mm-hmm. So that does free them up to go after some people in free agency, as well as sign their own free agents like Anthony Beauvillier, Adam Pelech, and Ilya Sorokin.
The Islanders have a weird off season so far. That this trade, in a way, like it did surprise me at the time, but again, like when we talk about Jonathan Bernier, it's Lou Lamoriello's done this before, where he's been able to kind of get rid of these contracts, or a contract that he never signed, he inherited from the GM prior, that he wanted to just get out of it. Because when I look at the protection list right now, when I say like Lou being Lou, it is kind of true in that sense where you protected Cal Clutterbuck and Matt Martin, but you exposed Josh Bailey and who was it again? Josh Bailey and
Jordan
Eberle. Yes.
You're ruining my transition plan.
Sorry.
Oh, my apologies. I just wanted to further expand on this because like my other thing I wanted to say was I think Andrew Ladd wasn't on LTIR because his mind was already in Minnesota from last year.
That is a very good point. And
in The Athletic, they mentioned that like he was prepared already. He's like, okay, I guess I'm getting traded to Minnesota.
I mean, and it just fell through because like the money was garbage. Speaking of money, the Islanders have $12.1 million in cap space now, helped by this deal. If you look at their protected list, they protected goalie Semyon Varlamov, defenseman Mayfield, Pelech, Pulak, forwards Pajot, Nelson, Lee, Barzell, and Beauvillier, and the identity line. I love it so much. Martin, Clutterbuck, and no, they didn't protect Zizekas. Hey, okay.
Isn't he? They didn't? Oh, okay.
He's a UFA.
Okay, and he'll probably stay. Great.
Right, exactly.
And you'll notice there is a defenseman missing, and that is Nick Leddy, who gets traded to the Detroit Red Wings in exchange for Richard Panik. He is traded again, and a pick. Solid pickup for Detroit. It's a second rounder in this year's draft. And I hate Yzerman. I hate you bringing players I want on the Habs to the goddamn division, but for Detroit, darn it.
The Anthony Mantha trade is looking so much better.
So think about that. He turned Anthony Mantha into what, like a first, a second, Jacob Vrana, and Nick Leddy. Oh, this is hilarious.
I saw a lot of people complaining that they gave up the pick to take on Nick Leddy. But to me, the reason I think it's a good trade for both teams in this scenario is that, again, the Islanders didn't want to lose him for nothing. And I think that's where the complaint is, because Detroit did have a lot of leverage. Like, Detroit didn't have to trade for Nick Leddy per se, but in Detroit's case, you need NHL defensemen who aren't 23, 24 years old. Nick Leddy has 1 year left. He's 30. And you're going to probably play the crap out of him. Mm-hmm. And what that does is, if he plays well, which he played well in New York, I don't see why he couldn't play well in Detroit, that can increase his trade value. Like, they got they had to give up a second round pick and Richard Panik to get Nick Leddy. And that was when they had some leverage. What if, like, come the trade deadline or January, we're having a discussion about, okay, what can the Red Wings do with Nick Leddy? They can trade him for picks and prospects. And I think there's upside here for Detroit. And we know that some teams don't eye this draft as highly as other drafts, due to the COVID and lack of playing. So maybe they're more interested in next year. Like, if you go, we've had this discussion. Detroit has 2 picks in the first 5 rounds. Like, each round, they have 2 picks in each of them.
Freaking hell. Not bad. Not bad.
Like, you know what I mean? I think they can afford to give up a second and then get back into next year's draft.
Seattle, you kind of look at Detroit's protected list, which obviously will now have Nick Leddy along with Grice, Lidstrom, Hronik forwards, Giovanni Smith, Jacob Vrana, Michael Rasmussen, Dylan Larkin, Robbie Fabry, Adam Ernie, Tyler Bertuzzi. We were pretty close on Detroit. Remember, we had a big discussion about that. Yeah. I think we went with Lidstrom just because of his name. Anyway, Detroit, decent moves. Seattle, probably from there you could probably see being taken. By the way, now is Troy Stetcher. I was a guy. I think we were at. I think we were trying to say keep Troy Stetcher maybe. Another sort of young defenseman on the move. Ryan Graves was traded from the Avalanche to the Devils for Mikhail Maitsev, and Colorado also got the second round pick of the Devils. That's 61st overall. pretty decent. Pretty nice little pick there. They get rid of Graves because he was probably the one getting selected in the expansion draft. Eric Johnson waiving his allowed them. We talked about that, the defenseman. Colorado getting Sutton for nothing. And if we look at their expansion list, ladies and gentlemen, I wish I hadn't have closed it, but they are really close to the top of the list, so it's okay. Colorado protect Burakovsky, Jost, Kadri, McKinnon, Nikushkin, Logan O'Connor, Rantanen, and then defenseman Makar, Taves, Grubauer, and all that kind of lovely stuff. But the Devils acquire another defenseman here, Siegenthaler. They're making moves. They don't want to be a laughingstock anymore. Buffalo will learn a thing or two.
A lot of quality there. You know what I mean? There's not really like a guy there. Like Will Butcher, Subban's not really their guy, but it's consistency I find now with New Jersey, and incremental.
I mean, remember when they did all those moves in the offseason? It was like we're going all in, and they didn't get a goal, and they did not make it, and they were bad.
Yeah, not a great time, and now they've really stripped it down. What was they don't have a single forward over the age of 26.
Something like that.
Yeah. Their oldest forward is Andreas Janssen at 26 years old.
Because remember when we were always talking about just wait and see Nikita Gusev, how he's gonna play and be like a steal for them. Like now it's looking that they gave up too much. Forget him from Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it didn't work out. It didn't work out as planned. I like this deal for New Jersey. I like this deal for both teams though, because what I've read about the prospect they traded and what Mikhail Maltsev could be a good addition for the Colorado Avalanche in terms of their prospect pool, and they get a pick out of it. The Devils get a defenseman, always good to have, and Ryan Graves is pretty decent.
This is really going to open up things, I think, when they get Dougie Hamilton.
No.
The Avalanche.
No. It's really funny. When I went to go get this trade up, I typed in Adam Graves again. Damn dad. New Jersey protected list, by the way. Blackwood, Siegenthaler, Severson, Graves, Zaka, Woods, Saragovich, McLeod, Kukkonen, Heischer, and Jesper Bratt, who I forgot was on that team. Cool.
Not bad.
Right. Dallas have been kind of busy, actually. First off, they trade Jason Dickinson to Vancouver. We'll get to that a little later for a third rounder, but what we're going to focus on right now is the Dallas Stars. And coming from Colorado, they have a young defenseman who needs to be signed, and he'll be looking at defenseman for the Dallas Stars, Miro Heiskanen's new contract. 8 years, $8.45 million is the AAV. I think this is just a really solid deal for Dallas and Miro Heiskanen, who is, of those sort of 3-star defensemen, the one we talk the least about, a.k.a. him, Hughes, and Makar.
Yeah.
Good for Dallas. I mean, they had a rough year and, turning the sort of foot. Good move for Jim Nill to make.
Yeah, I was I don't know about you guys, but for me, I was very surprised they went the full 8 years on this one. Just because from Heiskanen's perspective, if you wait 3 years, you sign a bridge deal. Hopefully the cap starts going up by the end of it, and then you get paid. But in this case, if he wants long-term security, this is exactly what he's getting here as well. And I mean, he's still getting paid. Like, this is no cheap deal. This is a $67 million contract. Mm-hmm. So I think it's great for both teams because Miro Heiskanen is one of the main bright spots in Dallas at the moment.
That's what I was going to say. When you look at Dallas's history of draft picks, with the exception of a Miro Heiskanen or a Jake Ottinger, for example, you really got to make sure you keep those picks you hit in the system, especially when you're still paying Jamie Benn how much money, and you still have like Tyler Seguin coming back from so many injuries, and you really kind of have like a depleted core from what we saw last year. So they have the building blocks there. They can do something. So I'm just kind of hoping that things stay healthy. They find something there because I know they made that finals run, but Dallas, to me, especially with what Jim Nils has really been able to build there, has just been okay.
I mean, they didn't make it to the cup final.
They did. Yeah.
Exactly.
They did. Have some respect. Corey Perry's from our team.
Yeah,
Right.
I think that was the downfall for them. They didn't re-sign him.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree. Hopefully Montreal don't make the same mistake.
Give them
Dallas,
the 8 years.
no. Speaking of protected lists, Dallas, Khudobin, Lindell, Klingberg, Heiskanen, Sagan, Radulov, Pavelski, Hintz, Guriana, Faksa, and Jamie Benn. Cool. The other move they make, again, Jason Dickinson pick goes to Vancouver. A solid, positive move for a good player for Vancouver. And boy, do they need good players.
They really do, considering the damage that might be done this offseason.
Yeah. He's a good penalty killer.
Yeah, and seems like a genuine good guy.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. I remember his draft profile was the defensive game has always been there. We just need him to score more, and he's a great defensive guy. Yeah.
He is protected along with Brock Besser, Horvat, Miller, Mott, Pearson, Pettersson, Ulevi, Meyer, Schmidt, Demko. Apparently, the Rangers tried to do a 1-for-1 of Pavel Buchnevich for Bo Horvat.
Yes,
Get out of here.
I did send you that.
Wow.
Stop it. Hang up the phone, add Lafreniere, and we'll talk. Obviously, you don't do that if you're the Rangers, but you know what I mean? Get out of here.
What's Jim Benning doing? Stop it.
Well, he could have said yes. That would have been really funny, by the way.
It would have been horrible. That's a horrible. I mean, in my eyes, that's a horrible deal.
It's a pretty bad.
It's fun for the rest of us, though.
Oh, it's hilarious. It's great content for us.
Would have been great if next time we get Harmon on and be like, so we thought it was bad last offseason.
He's like, what on earth happened? What did he do?
Mm-hmm. Very, very weird. Very, very weird. New York, in the same breath, by the way, the Rangers acquired Barclay Goodrow's rights, and apparently they're very close on an extension. What's really weird is there were also reports, I believe, from Frank Saravelli, who, again, has been killing it. Apparently, teams were ready to offer Goodrow 6 years. What are we doing here? Playoffs are just
recency bias.
Yeah, I mean, a bit more than that. I mean, 2 playoffs, two cup wins.
Yeah,
2 cup wins.
I think it's just he's just that typical example we always talk about of if we just really add these types of guys to the core we have already, this is the move that we need to do. We don't have to go to the big, we don't have to do the huge swings.
Mm-hmm. This sounds like a move that Jim Dolan saw Barclay Goodrow. He heard ESPN talk about him or something, and he called up Chris Drury and said, trade for this guy right now. Because remember that when the whole thing when Davidson and what's the GM? I can't remember that. Jeff Gordon got fired. Is one of the main things was, well, we're not like the Islanders. And my first reaction was don't ever make that comparison, please. You're going to ruin your entire fan base. And adding Barclay Goodrow, okay, he's not Matt Martin. He's not Casey Cizikas in the way he plays, but he will get into the corners. It fits the exact description that Jim Dolan was looking for.
By the way, I got a little mixed up. David Pagnotta said that, and Chris Johnson respectively had worried about extensions being close. Chris Johnson was the one who said that apparently teams were 6 years. Dumb. Very dumb. Cool. Very, very, very dumb.
He's 28 now, right?
Around there.
Yeah.
Still 6 years. Remember when the Kings were giving depth guys 6-year deals? You're like, what are you doing here?
You want to keep the band together.
You mean when the Red Wings were also doing it?
Yes, this is
Darren Helm.
Justin Abdelkader.
I do not get it. I do not get it. Something else. So Vlad Tarasenko was exposed. Not great. So I believe a St. Louis reporter, I think it's Jeremy Rutherford of The Athletic, said that there was very little offers about Tarasenko, but Frank Saravelli tweeted yesterday that word is at least 4 teams were interested in Tarasenko at full cap hit, others involved with retained salary. Not sure why a deal didn't get done, but the relationship is irretrievably broken. We'll see if Seattle take him or where this goes next. You guys know I'm a big Tarasenko fan, but it is getting bad, and he's one of many a good name. So this is from Ryan S. Clark. Ryan _S_Clark on Twitter. Breaking. Carey Price, Vlad Tarasenko, Gabriel Landeskog, Ryan Johansson, Mark Giordano, Jonathan Drouin, Yanni Gord, Tyler Johnson, Jason Zucker, Jared McCann, and Kaapo Kähkönen, I'm shocked about that one, by the way, are among those players who have been exposed ahead of the expansion draft. Daniel, can you explain to me why Talbot got the nod over Kähkönen?
It's because Kähkönen, like I mentioned this last episode, down the stretch, he really struggled to finish the season, like after he had a bit of a hot streak. And it's a weird thing. Like Bill Guerin wants to keep, like what Alex said as well, like, you know, that 2-3 year window. He's tired of the mediocrity. He wants to win now. And I questioned if Cam Talbot could really be your guy for that. But it's the same thing where Michael Russo mentioned that there's just that hope where you risk it, that they're not going to tape Kähkönen because he's inexperienced, and there's a lot more goalies in front of him. Like that's just what was mentioned in the article.
Carey's old. Take Capo. Man, leave Carey alone.
I really think they're going to take, and actually it was Mike who threw me the idea, but
who?
Mike.
Who's that?
Our Mr. I know everything about hockey.
Oh, okay.
Except he doesn't know when the last team who won the cup at home, though. No, but he threw this idea at me that the Kraken will do something similar to Vegas, and they took more D than they really needed to, and then traded them off. And I could really see the Kraken doing that with goaltenders, because there's some good goaltenders out there who they can take, like a Kähkönen, like a Drieger, like a Price.
No,
like, but and then go off and trade the ones that they don't really want, even though yes, the market is quite full, but I do think you'd still get something for these goalies.
I disagree. Don't take them. Take Drieger. Okay. Apparently, there's word that there's a 3x3 deal out there for Drieger. A trade that kind of perplexed me a bit. The Coyotes acquire goaltender Aiden Hill. Sorry, they trade Aiden Hill to the Sharks. Yeah, sorry. For some reason, I looked at Arizona in the article, and instead of reading it from the start where it says the San Jose Sharks, it's weird because we all know that the Yotes wanted to hold on to Aiden Hill. Instead, they send him to San Jose for their goaltender, Josef Coroner, and a second rounder. Coroner, who had been re-signed earlier in the week with the caption on Twitter, he's not going anywhere.
Oof. That's
rough.
Oof. Was that because of exposure? Is that what the main why he was included in the trade? Pretty much. So
they get a second, right?
Yes.
Because San Jose obviously need a goalie. Like it's nobody's business. I'm going to quickly get up their expansion draft, the Coyotes. Because what I would assume is if you look at Arizona, their goalies are technically, if you were to protect, he's not on the list anymore. But the thing is, you have to expose one goalie, right? Rantanen Ranta does not meet the requirements, obviously, because he doesn't have term after this year. We know that Darcy Kemper is not going to go. So instead of, and I guess maybe the value for Kemper isn't there, which is crazy to me because he's a good goalie, that maybe they thought, that they could get more for Aiden Hill, but it's just the timing of like how they really like him. They don't want to lose him. Kemper's not going to re-sign there because he made it clear apparently, and who would because it's Arizona. It's just kind of weird to me is all.
That's why I was convinced that Darcy Kemper was going to be one of Seattle's goalies. Because we knew Kemper didn't want to come back. He has a year left, and they seemed to have liked Aiden Hill. So, and they had to protect what Aiden Hill was on the
Daniel, do you have a
list.
Oh, sorry.
No, go. It's okay. It was just confusing to me as to why they made this trade.
I think it was just, again, another kind of, we couldn't figure it out. We couldn't figure out our list the best way we could. So how about we get an asset instead of trying to risk anything in the uncertainty that this guy gets selected? because I don't know. The Coyotes, it's weird to me. It's like they're gonna end up being that team again. They're just gonna keep accumulating draft picks in a way to compensate for what they've done the last 2 years or something.
Mm-hmm.
But for the San Jose side of things, like Adin Hill is a solid goalie, but they're gonna be betting on another guy that could have a solid season, but's never really been the guy. Because remember when they got Martin Jones, he barely played on the Kings. Like he had some of those okay starts or the stretches where Jonathan Quick wasn't playing, and then he got them to the final, but he didn't really the finals the next season for the Sharks, but he didn't really exactly have the best numbers. And it's a similar feeling to me with Adin Hill, where you're gonna plunge this guy into really is another questionable environment in San Jose where like they don't really know what they are right now.
There's just been an article that our guy Saravelli has just put out saying Price's health concerns cloud Kraken's expansion selection. So I'm going to read that off the side here, but what I'm going to do first is we're going to go to screen share because, ladies and gentlemen, it's the 2-on-1 podcast, official Seattle expansion process of expansion and selection of your favorite players. As it says in their Twitter bio, first off, we're going to Montreal. We're picking Jonathan Drouin, and I am not letting us take Carey. No, I'll be fair about this. I'll be fair about this.
No, you got to scroll to the top. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. It's weird. It's really weird. Okay.
What a transition.
If you guys want to discuss, I'm just going to quickly read this article because I don't want to go off the air and be like, oh, we're peanuts. Ignore that can. I'll mute myself. So
okay.
I'll listen to you guys and I'll click the players as we go. So
Yep. Daniel, this is your second favorite team. So I would like to let you pick.
The Anaheim Ducks.
I will pick Jakob Larsson.
Jakob Larsson?
Because he's one of those guys where it's like only if we gave him more minutes, we'll see what he could become. And I think that's really what you can kind of get from this team because the other guys around that age group, not really most. Like, I don't think they're going to take Henrik's contract.
No.
Not really much else there to get.
To me, and I think we had this discussion the first time around because we did it for the TikTok. It was like between Larson, Fleury, and Brendan Gooley.
Yeah.
So I guess either of them is pretty much fine. I guess next would be the Arizona Coyotes. How much fun are like this is just incredible. The players that we get to select from. Adam, I know you're reading, but
so
I don't know who on earth to pick.
I think from what I understand, well, first off, I think if you look at goalies, he has health issues, but never mind. Yeah, no crap, they protected him. I don't know why I thought they left Kemper. From what I was reading, I was honestly looking for Kemper. I'm like, yoink, but no, it's not the wrong. I'm probably thinking, from what I've read about the Coyotes, is apparently they really, really like a guy like Tyler Pitlick, but then it's like, I just love Andrew Ladd. I'm kidding. It's either going to be that or one of the defensemen like Australia or Lyubushkin, but I've just been reading stuff about how they really like Tyler Pitlick and how he's been doing a little bit of everything. We can come back if you want because there is just a pool of it's a cesspool.
Okay. Yeah, we will come back.
By the way, apparently an MRI showed Price may need hip surgery.
Awesome.
He's getting results later this week. But
would it happen to be the same hip surgery that Roberto Luongo and Corey Schneider got?
I don't know that, but he went to the U.S. to see if there was to see a specialist. So apparently that added to the idea. I wish he had put this out at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, come on.
God damn it, Frank, who is challenging. Okay, so if we go to the Boston Bruins, you're not taking any of the goalies. You're not really taking oh boy, this is not great. Jeremy Lauzon, I think, is a guy people have been talking about. Young defenseman who has the capability of playing in the top four, apparently plays both sides. RFA until next year. Because you're not taking Andre Kasha.
No, unless you're
That's
willing.
too much of a risk. Yeah.
Right. That's the thing is, are you willing to take the risk with Kasha? You also have Nick Ritchie.
Jacob Sapporo.
Yeah, Jacob Sapporo. This is like, you know, considering how good of a team Boston is, it's like I don't know who to pick. It's becoming an issue. So I am fine with Jeremy Lauzon.
Yeah, I like it.
I don't know if they're going to go after a forward. Like I don't think to me it wouldn't be worth it to go after a Krejci or a Hall because you can always get them a week later.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But it seems like Hall might stay in Boston. So, but who knows? Because
we're getting flows on.
Yeah.
Okay, good. The Buffalo Sabres.
Good. Oh my.
Okay, Jeff Skinner.
So
okay.
It's funny you say that. Okay, if I'm Ron Francis, okay. Listen.
Yeah.
He skates like the no. We're not even going to try and do that.
Were you going to try to convince Daniel and I that we should take Jeff Skinner?
He skates like the wind. You put him in the right situation. He has a scoring ability in the past, and I mean, who's good in Buffalo?
Nobody. Well, Jack Eichel.
That's the best pitch I have, but
Jack Eichel. That's who's good in Buffalo.
Did have a lot of guys under like any of the young other guys who are not making a lot of money under contract for too long.
I know it's not great. Honestly, the best guy here is like Colin Miller.
I think that's who we took last time.
Did we stick by it?
I would stick by it.
I'm wondering if we just cut this and put the team at the end.
See how long it takes.
All right, Giordano.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Are you sure you want Justin Kirkland?
No, I'm sure.
They get their captain.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Byron Fries, one of the greats of both the organizations we like on this team. All right, a big thing with the Carolina Hurricanes is Nino Niederreiter is apparently available. Or, remember the factor, do they go out and get Dougie Hamilton? Or Jake Bean?
So the
or Dylan Wells.
Daniel Santano to the principal.
The thing with Dougie Hamilton is just you can get him 7 days later.
This is true.
That's the thing.
Projections I've seen with Carolina, they always say it's going to be a Niederreiter or a Jake Bean.
Because I don't think we expected Nino Niederreiter to be protected, did we?
We did not. Apparently it's a cap thing.
Okay.
So would we rather Bean or would we rather Nino?
Morgan Geeky.
No. Okay. Bean. We'll put it to a vote. Daniel,
okay.
Which one?
Jake Bean.
Alex.
Nino Niederreiter.
God damn it, guys. Okay, hold on a minute.
Wait, Adam, who are you choosing?
I feel bad. I like the young defenseman, and I just keep thinking about that Seattle want the cap. Like they keep going on about their cap space.
Yep.
Just for that reason, I'll go with Bean for that, just cause.
Fair.
But I would be on their philosophy. If it was my choice,
you click Jake Gardner.
Whoa.
But if it was my choice, if I was building Seattle, I would go for Nino Niederreiter is what I'll say. The Chicago Blackhawks. Oh, sacre bleu.
This is not fantastic.
Oh boy, Vinny Hinostroza's up. Oh no.
You know who I could see them taking?
Who?
Is Malcolm Subban.
He is a UFA for next year. I'm cool with Malcolm Subban. He was decent at the start of the year, right?
He's a guy you can even play in the AHL. Like, considering the goalies that are available, I don't see him touching the NHL with this team. But that also, there's nothing else.
You don't like Adam Gaudette?
Not particularly.
All right, Malcolm Subban. The Colorado Avalanche. I look at Colorado and I'm like, you know what's kind of tasty?
What's that?
I kind of like Jonas Donskoy. But then his cap hit's a bit too big, ain't it? I thought they would have someone else available, unless Seattle. I don't think they've been rumored, linked to Landeskog, especially if he wants $8 million. You're not taking any of the goalies.
No.
Unless they want JT Compher.
Like, to me, that's the name that stands out on that list, unless they're going to go
same.
after a young guy. Just for me, JT Compher is the name that stands out there. You're not taking Eric Johnson.
With leadership. So
Yeah, but you have Mark Giordano. Okay,
Yeah.
there's your leadership. And then Brandon Saad, UFA, Gabe Landeskog, UFA. Those are guys you can go after in literally a week if you wanted to.
Good with Comfort, Dan?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Excuse me, the Columbus Blue Jackets. Merzlikins isn't eligible.
No.
Crap. That's annoying. Now I believe Domi's hurt, is he not?
Yeah, he's hurt.
So, I believe it is shoulder surgery.
Oh, wow. The poetry of Josh Anderson is something special there. But I mean, okay, is there anyone else?
If you want to go after a defenseman, I would say Dean Kukin, but if you're taking Max Domi, you got to know that you got to be aware of the
There's
injury.
really not a lot. I don't know. Gabriel Carlson.
Is he? Oh, he's available.
Do we go Gabe Carlson?
I think that's who we also took.
He's like the definition of like that first round pick reclamation prize.
Perfect. Okay. The Dallas Stars. Okay, we look at that. Bishop barely played, but at the same time, do they sign Alexiak? Maybe. Do we do a prediction that they sign him? Or do we go Ben Bishop because they clearly don't want Carey Price, so obviously they're going to want Ben Bishop.
Okay, Ben Bishop.
I really I don't know. I'm just convinced that they might take Ben Bishop.
Okay, cool. I'm fine with that. I don't care. Troy Stetcher for Detroit.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Nemestikov. No. Stetcher was so good at the Worlds. Okay, the Edmonton Oilers. You're not going to take a goalie. I mean,
Are you sure?
I don't want Stalock, Smith, or Koskinen.
Are you sure you don't want Mikko Koskinen?
No, I don't want Chris Russell. Clefbaum is obviously, it looks like not going to play again next year.
Yeah.
So then you look at the forwards, and I feel like the name that stands out for all of us is probably Tyler Benson.
That's the name that stood out for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you really want James Neal. I
like Whitby. There's a good English.
Keep the expansion draft streak going with James Neal.
Okay, Drieger for the Panthers because apparently that's all done. LA, not quick.
Come on.
Kale Clagg's an interesting one, young defenseman.
Brendan Lemieux.
I'd
say Brendan Lemieux or Austin Wagner because they're kind of like a similar type of, like okay guys you could put in the bottom six that have a bit of that toughness.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, Wagner's just a lot more disciplined.
And you're saying that over Kale Clagg?
I don't know, because we have a lot of defensemen, don't we?
We already have 7.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm cool with Wagner or Lemieux.
I'm fine with Wagner. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay. Yeah, he has the extra term. It's not bad. Okay, cool. The Minnesota Kakinen, right? Kakinen?
Yeah.
I'd go with Kakinen.
Or maybe Susie. Do you like Daniel? Do you like Susie? Or are we good with Kakinen?
I'm good with Kakinen.
Okay, that's good. Okay, all right. Let's have the discussion. Okay, knowing that Carey Price may need hip surgery at 33,
not great.
I would say you're getting an amazing offensive talent with Jonathan Drouin.
Yeah, fresh
new scenario.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the Kool-Aid Man, Rick Kulak. Or a young defenseman, Cale Fleury, or Charles Hudon, who is somehow still around. But no, are we good with Jonathan Drouin?
I'm fine with Jonathan Drouin.
Okay, and if he's healthy, would you take Carey Price?
Yes.
Yeah.
I hate how it makes sense. I can't believe I need my favorite player to need hip surgery for him to stay. But that might be the better thing because he may never recover from it. But I don't. There's Nashville. Hi there. Honestly, like Sissons, he's not bad. Man,
What about Jakob
What about Trenin?
Oh yeah,
I believe that's actually who we also took last time.
Yeah.
So I'm fine
Or
with
do we
that.
go for a young goal? Ingram or Trennan? I'd say, I don't know, maybe it's a young goal.
I'd say Trennan.
I'd say Trennan as well.
Good. The Devils. Okay, so hear me out.
Yeah.
PK.
All right.
Yeah, it's like to me, it's PK or Will Butcher.
Yeah, I mean, like on ice, it's better for Butcher, I'd say, but the
Yeah.
brand.
Oh,
You fly PK to wherever the draft is, and you're like, here he is. It's like, Seattle, what up? I'm here.
man.
It's hot.
It's good for markability.
Yeah,
It is,
For the
it
bobblehead
is.
nights that you have
It
to
is.
establish. Yeah.
It is,
exactly.
it is.
Set
Okay,
the prices.
PK, you convinced me.
Okay, looking at the Islanders, I am amazed that both of Bailey and Eberle are up. Are we convinced though, or do we do the lulls? Okay, there's two things. I don't think you're taking Andy Green, the bad Aho, Witherspoon, Vance Sopel, Coburn, or Hickey.
No.
You're not taking Ken Appleby or Corey Snyder. Yeah, forgot about Corey Snyder. So if we look over here, I think we can clearly say, I would say there are four possible selections.
Okay.
Eberle,
Yeah.
Bailey, Bellows, and Josh Hosang.
I'd say Josh Bailey. That's my vote.
Oh man, my vote was Jordan Eberle.
Yeah, Adam, you're the tiebreaker.
My vote was mine was Kiefer Bellows.
Oh my god, that's brutal. Okay.
Okay, if we're gonna go with one of the older forwards, I'll relent and I'll go with Jordan Eberle.
Sure, he's famous. He does a lot of stuff. We're at our cap. We've hit the floor apparently.
Awesome.
Okay.
We need forwards, and we go to the New York Rangers. We're not taking Keith Kincaid. We're not taking any of those defensemen.
No.
So it's either Julien Gauthier, Colin Blackwell, who people had. I would take. I mean, Gauthier just got extended, but of all those guys, you're not taking Goudreau because who knows what that deal looks like. But
Right.
I'll take Julian Gauthier.
I
He's another, big body reclamation prize guy.
Exactly. I will take Julien Gauthier as well.
cool. Okay, if we go to the Ottawa Senators, you're not. Oh, guys. Okay, it's weird that Dodonov's up, eh?
Yeah.
So it's probably Dodonov, or because the cap hit's a little rich, I like Joey Decord.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Matt Murray. I'm like,
No.
no.
What about?
I have this feeling they're gonna have such strong wingers, and they're gonna be in such a similar situation to Vegas.
They do also. I will also point out Vitaly Abramov, young guy, potential there.
I think he signed in the KHL.
Young guy, KHL. Probably don't take him.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe not. I'm leaning more towards Evgeny Dadonov. Whatever. If you guys want to take Joey Decord, we could do
Xander,
that
you
too.
the deciding vote.
I'll get Evgeny Dadonov. I really,
words.
I just remember what was it on Family Day when he scored that when Mike said that thing.
Yeah.
That really still weirds me out.
I'm convinced. By the way, that Philly is going to lose Shane Gosper.
You think so?
Just because at some point, because here's the thing with hockey. It always happens. It is where was a connection made?
That's
and
true.
Haxtell and Philly, and it works, and Ghost Bear is his best under him. You're not taking JVR or Voracek.
No.
You're not doing that. No offense. I'm not taking German Rusov.
No.
I think I picked him last time.
I think you did.
Yeah.
Or Pascal Laberge.
No. So I think it wouldn't, and it's only 2 more years, 4.5. There are worse deals out there than Shane Ghost Bear.
Especially if Haxtell, can get Gostisbehere to look like he did under him in Philly, then I would also take Shane Gostisbehere.
Okay. Pittsburgh. So it's 5.5. It's a little rich, but maybe you could go Zach Aston Reese, a good depth guy. Or do you go a goalie and get Casey DeSmith? I think, or Pedersen, defenseman, pretty good.
Like in my eyes, it's down to Jason Zucker or Marcus Pedersen.
What do you think, Dan?
I say Marcus Patterson.
Okay, we can go Marcus Pedersen. Yeah. I mean, okay. Speaking of which, we need forwards. Do we just take Tyler Pitlick from Arizona?
There's also oh no, he's a UFA. I was gonna say Mike Bunting because he's one of like those up and coming guys that he's a late bloomer, but he's a glimmer of hope in Arizona.
Mm-hmm. All right, do we take Pitlick?
I'm fine with Pitlick.
Yeah.
Okay. Looking at the San Jose Sharks, we're not taking Martin Jones.
Come on.
See, I've heard that Radim Semek ain't bad, but
I've heard the same thing.
Yeah.
Because beside that, like they just extended Dylan Graham, that's a center. I mean, yeah, it's a center, it's a forward. We may need a forward, so I think it's either Radim Semek or Dylan Gambro.
I'm going to go with Dylan Gambrell.
Okay.
Same here.
Okay, cool. Again, we need forwards
just to balance out the team.
Okay. Let's just get this one out the way.
Okay.
Would you? So if you are Seattle, do you take Jared McCann? Just under $3 million, RFA next year, or Kerfoot, who has the additional year, $3.5 million.
I want to say they're going to take Kerfoot. I do, just because of again, you talked about connection with Philadelphia. I see the connection there with Kerfoot. But I just have this gut feeling they're going to take Jared McCann.
Damn.
All right. Yeah, kind of same here. I mean, it just makes more sense in terms of age and cost, so I'll say Jared McCann.
I'm sorry, Jared. I will remember you.
Just a great time as a Leaf.
I always remember that era.
I can't wait for the number retirement. Okay, going back up to
this isn't Nashville.
God damn it.
This isn't Nashville.
I'm gonna say Vlad Tarasenko because I just love that idea.
Okay.
Do you not think Vlad Tarasenko?
I was gonna go him or Vince Dunn.
Oh, it's just the thing with Vlad Tarasenko is the injury. That's what's stopping me.
Do we want to come back to St. Louis then?
Yeah, because maybe we can have a discussion.
So you're not taking any of the goalies in Tampa. The defenseman, I think it's either do you do a young guy like Cal Foote or do you take Yanni Gourde? Because I love Yanni Gourde.
How about Matthew Joseph?
Yanni Gourde, though.
Wouldn't you take? You would not take Andre Palat?
No.
Yeah, but the thing is, Yanni Gourde's a center, Daniel. That's my thing with him.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Do you want to help Tampa or do you want to screw Tampa over?
Because I think like Palat or a Gourde would still hurt them.
Yeah, but you're giving them $5 million of cap space.
Yeah, but then you're ripping apart their third line. That's a shit. Yeah, they signed someone you never heard of.
Yeah, exactly. That's why for me it's Matthew Joseph.
You can't hurt them. You can't hurt them. That's the thing. You can't hurt them. God, I hate this team.
Okay,
so here's the thing: if you take Matthew Joseph, it still forces Tampa Bay to have to make a trade to relieve themselves of cap space. That is it in my eyes. And you could be that team.
We have 4 picks left. We do need a minimum of 2 forwards. If we look at the Canucks, oh no. I know people were talking about Coland.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, they were interested in Holtby, though, and if they want to do their goalie thing, it would fit what Seattle are looking at. Excuse me, to go get Braden Holtby.
I think Braden Holtby.
Okay, Braden Holtby.
It's someone they can flip. And even if they have to retain, you can get something back for that.
Okay, Washington.
Alex Ovechkin. No.
Okay.
He's got a deal. Under the table.
I hope he leaves.
I don't think he's leaving, though. I hate to be the party pooper.
What about Garnet Hathaway? Or Connor Sheary makes less than $1 million? What?
Oh, yeah. Did they sign into an extension?
I think we take Connor Sheary. Guys.
Yeah,
okay.
cheap young.
Or we go to Winnipeg, and our last forward side, maybe we're a bit more flexible looking at some defensemen, but then again, their defensemen are like, nah. So let's just let's just come back to Washington in a second, though, because I look at the forwards and I'm like, I want Mason Appleton.
So do I.
Okay.
Okay, so we got St. Louis and we got Washington.
How about Laurent Brossoit, though?
Yeah, just
That's another guy who could have replaced Jake Allen, by the way. And he's from Quebec, so.
So, defensemen, I'm not super crazy on taking either of their defensemen. So I'm cool with either a Garnet Hathaway or a Connor Sheary.
I like Connor Sheary because it's a low
too.
cap hit, and he's Connor Sheary.
He played in the top 6 before.
Here's the thing. So we have about $6-ish million in cap space.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got just under $7 million.
Okay.
So we can't actually afford Tarasenko.
Okay, so Vince Dunn or Sammy Blais?
If we take them, yeah, we're about $2 million over. So do we do? I would rather Dunn than Blais. I think the upside there is a bit more enticing. Daniel.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Well, no, not Scandal. So we went out and we thought Seattle wanted to be close to the cap or away from the cap as possible. So what were you going to say, Alex?
I was going to say, you sure you don't want Scandella?
I'm missing, kind of. Okay, so if we go, this is our Seattle team. Why can't I not see this as like a lineup thing? That's annoying to me. Can I change the view of this?
Publish the team.
Okay, so in goal, we have Ben Bishop, Braden Holtby, Malcolm Subban, why is he even notified? No trees. Kappa Kapkanen, Chris Drieger. On defense, Subban, Giordano, Gosper, Pedersen, Miller, Stetcher, Larson, Lauzon, Carlson, Bean, Dunn. And on forwards, our centermen, Jakob Trenin, Mason Appleton, Dylan Gambrell, Jared McCann, JT Compher. Our wingers, Eberle, Druin. Oh, it's a modified. What is this? Dodonov, Compher, Pitlick, Sheary, Wagner, Appleton, Gauthier. Oh, Joseph plays everything. And Tyler Benson.
You know who the Seattle Kraken should trade for?
Who?
Jack Eichel.
I agree. And you just everyone.
Exactly. Just that we're starting from scratch with Jack Eichel.
Gentlemen, is there anything else to end the episode?
I'm going to double check Twitter right now.
Yeah, Sam, do your checks.
There is nothing. We are good to end the episode without anything breaking.
Good.
All right.
Who's going to end the episode?
Well, as I pull up this koala that is a music box
Where's the panda?
to my side, he's resting.
Okay.
Thank you, Voice Ed, as always, for being a great platform for the show. Check out all the social medias for all of us, the show. Daniel's stuff for CJRU, amongst other things, Hockey Writers. Alex's blog, my YouTube channel. The worst month in Habs history video is coming soon. Voice Ed, thank you. Again, I said it twice because we forgot last week.
Yeah.
TikTok.
Facebook.
Instagram.
I think that's everything.
Twitter
That might be the worst outro we've ever done. But that's fine because you, the fans, are here for it.